comments into the record. The first one is from Michelle Jacobs, the President and CEO of Economic Council of Palm Beach County. Dear board members and senior leadership for the Palm Beach County School District, since we cannot speak at your virtual meeting today, I wanted to send this to you in advance of the meeting for the record. On behalf of the Economic Council of Palm Beach County, we would like to thank the incredible work that the entire school district has accomplished through this particularly difficult time while we face the pandemic. We appreciate the thoughtful approach that the senior team for the district, expertly led by Dr. Donald Fenoy, has used to make sure that students throughout Palm Beach County can continue their learning while remaining safe and sheltering at home. The additional stress of feeding our students and their families daily is not lost on us, and we are grateful to you and the work your staff has done to keep our communities healthy. While we continue through this pandemic and face more difficult decisions as to how to get back to what will be our new normal, we are confident in the incredible leadership that Dr. Fenoy has shown in navigating these uncharted waters and stand ready and willing to partner with you on future educational best practices for our students. Thank you all for what you are doing. Best, Michelle Jacobs. The second is rather long, but we will give it a go. It is from James Gavrilos from the Education Foundation. First, let me commend you, Dr. Fenoy, the entire school board, and the senior school district administration for your masterful leadership during these very trying times. I cannot thank you enough for your courage, your vision, and your forthrightness in navigating these troubled waters. With you at the helm, I am quite certain smoother sailing is ahead. Since the March school board meeting, much has happened. First, the device drive. Just after the March meeting, we set out to raise $100,000 to provide eligible students with the electronic devices they would need with the shift to distance learning. I can happily report that over 190 donors contributed $117,904.13. With those funds, along with the 83 gently used devices that were donated at local Office Depot locations, the Education Foundation was able to provide 717 Chromebooks to the district IT department for distribution. Number two, rising to the challenge. The Education Foundation then launched a second phase of this effort, Rising to the Challenge. This drive was designed to raise funds to purchase Chromebooks for further distribution and to replenish the depleted inventory at our public schools. Shortly after the announcement of this second phase of the campaign, Chairman Frank Barbieri connected Congressman Ted Deutsch to the Education Foundation. Congressman Deutsch had a connection to an anonymous donor who wished to help. That anonymous donor made a contribution of $500,000 to launch the Rising to the Challenge campaign. A second donation. Shortly after the first donation of $500,000 was received, the anonymous donor reached out again to the Education Foundation and expressed concern that the school district have enough resources to sustain the school feeding sites. After discussion with the donor and the senior district staff, the Education Foundation was pleased to accept and announce yet another donation to be made anonymously of $500,000 to support the district feeding programs. As part of the Rising to the Challenge campaign, the Education Foundation also launched Kits for Kids, a program of our Red Apple Supplies to get needed school supplies into the homes of students who need them. One regional superintendent reported a student doing her lesson with a red crayon because that was all she had. Kits for Kids provides a binder, folder, pens, paper, pens, and pencils, among other items. To ensure that these supplies go to the neediest students, the Education Foundation distributes these Kits for Kids at schools that are both school district feeding sites and already participating in Red Apple Supplies. 350 Kits for Kids were distributed at Highlands Elementary on the 15th of April. An additional 375 Kits for Kids were distributed at Benoist Farms Elementary on the 22nd of April. Tomorrow morning, Ed Foundation staff, board members, and volunteers will be at Village Academy, Northmore Elementary, and Roosevelt Elementary to distribute a combined 1,200 kits. Upon hearing of these distributions, the Jim Moran Foundation committed $25,000. The Boca West Community Children's Foundation committed $16,000. Aetna Insurance committed $15,000. Mirasol Foundation committed $10,000. Sunrise Rotary Club of Boca Raton committed $5,000. Jonathan's Landing Cares committed $4,000. Additional funders include the Ventus Charitable Foundation, Gold Coast Federal Credit Union, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Walmart. 3 different Walmart stores have awarded grants. Chairman Barbieri, these are indeed difficult times, so the choice is ours. We can wring our hands as we ponder the enormity of the problem, or we can stand and rejoice that Palm Beach County has such generous people who are committed to public education. We can stand and rejoice that so many in our community are willing to put forth their time, talent, and treasure in the service of our children. We can stand and rejoice that Palm Beach County is blazing a trail to the future of education for our children. We can stand and rejoice that our school district has been blessed with inspired leaders and visionary board members. We can stand and rejoice that in the most trying times, the most trying of circumstances, our children are still learning. And isn't that why we're all here in the first place? I don't know about you, but I've never been much of a hand wringer. I'm going to go stand and go join the Stand and Rejoice line. With respect, James Gavrilos, President, CEO, Education Foundation of Palm Beach County. And the last delegate speaker, this is from Justin Katz, the CTA President. Good afternoon, board members and Superintendent Dr. Fenoy. First, I wanted to wish you and your families all good health and safety during these precarious times. Both of my parents back in New Jersey came down with the virus, but fortunately both appear to be on the road to recovery. Take nothing for granted is an old saying, but it seems more relevant now than ever. Second, as you know, this shift came without warning, without much training, and has understandably caused a great number of educators a level of stress and anxiety that they have not experienced before, as they endeavor to do the best job they can do to continue educating our students via distance learning. I would be remiss if I did not praise both district staff and many of your school-based administrators for working collaboratively with CTA and educators throughout the school district to ensure that maximum flexibility and compassion is being provided during our journey through the uncharted waters of the distance learning shift. Obviously, I would share similar praise for our educators for stepping up to the challenge and earning high praise from parents across the county for their efforts and dedication to our students. Lastly, I recently received a copy of a letter from the Florida Association of District School Superintendents, indicating that they are requesting that the state suspend certain portions of our local contract. We view this request to be not unconstitutional, but an effort to the working relationship and mutual respect we should be showing each other as educators and district leadership during these unprecedented times resulting from COVID-19. During this crisis, our teachers and our administrators in the district have worked well together to ensure that our staff is safe and our students are continuing to learn. Working conditions should be a local decision and should be made by local stakeholders. We do not need, nor do we want, the heavy hand of Tallahassee bureaucrats usurping authority over our local decision-making processes. I and my members stand ready to negotiate any necessary contractual changes to ensure that we can open schools next school year. My members want nothing more than to be back to normal when the time is right and safety protocols are put in place, which include addressing our working conditions through our constitutional guaranteed right to collectively bargain. I know the aforementioned concern is the position of the Florida Association of District School Superintendents, not necessarily our local superintendent, but any effort to unilaterally shred portions of our collective bargaining agreement would run contrary to how our respective parties, the CTA and the school district, have treated each other over the past 2 months regarding distance learning, as well as being contrary to many statements made by school board members in your board workshop last week with regards to the absolute necessity to include teachers and the CTA in decision-making that impacts teachers and their working conditions moving forward. I would ask this school board and Superintendent Fenoy to reject this unconstitutional power grab that would ultimately be pushed forward by the Florida Commissioner of Education, who has a well-documented history of showing unvarnished disdain for local school boards and local teacher unions and their constitutional authority and rights. Thank you all for your time and the work you are all putting in to ensure our district continues serving the needs of our students and families, as well as your support for educators. Sincerely, Justin Katz, CTA President. And that is all of the delegate speakers.
Thank you, Ms. Bass. Do we have any agenda topic speakers?
No, we do not.
You're on mute, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, that helps, doesn't it? The items that have been pulled from the consent agenda, again, are